Hello and welcome to Catching Up with Boruto, the podcast about catching up and first impressions of the anime Boruto. Better late than never, that's our ninja way. Hello and welcome to Catching Up with Boruto. My name is Johnny.
I'm Trey.
So, we are the hosts of Catching Up with Boruto, obviously.
Clear. I thought we were just crashing.
Yeah, there's no one else here. What the heck? Anyways.
Where are they?
Yeah. So, if you didn't know, guys, this show is all about, just like the title says, about catching up with Boruto. So, Trey and I haven't seen Boruto, and Boruto's in like the hundreds of episodes. And so this whole show is about Trey and I watching Boruto and catching up with Boruto, telling our first impressions, some questions of the show. So if you're already someone who is like all caught up with Boruto, that doesn't mean that this show isn't for you. If anything, it gives you some more Boruto content since you're all caught up. And you can kind of see our first impressions, some of our thoughts that we're thinking that you're like, oh my gosh, they're so wrong, or...
Kind of just live through, like, you know, the thoughts that you might have had when you were watching it the first time.
Yeah.
What were you worried about? Like, were we on the same ballpark, or do you think we're just crazy?
Yeah, and this time you can like watch it with us, so that's kind of cool, and then kind of hear our impressions. Because last time you probably watched it all by yourself. But yeah, so even if you're all caught up, you can still catch up with us.
Yeah.
But anyways, episode 6. So as you can tell, we're wearing the same clothes as the last episode. We do shower. We do wash our laundry.
I have like 20 of these shirts. That's not true. That was a lie.
No, we just recorded the last one, took a little break, and we're recording this one. We just figured we'd go ahead and knock 2 out. We kind of had the goal that once we got 6 episodes done, not episodes in Boruto, but 6 podcasts done, that we'd go ahead and start releasing them. And so knowing that, Trey and I are kind of excited to actually get this thing out there for you guys. So after episode 6, so episode 7, we'll start doing our shout outs and all those kind of things with you guys, because that will be episode 7 when we go to record it. Well, actually, I guess we would still be ahead. I don't know. Because we would, I don't know where we're going to release them, if we're going to do like 2 a week or 1 a week. We don't really know that yet.
Once we start getting them, we will start doing it. How's that?
Man, they'll be having to catch up with catching up with Boruto. That's kind of weird.
We'll just have to keep track. I mean, you know, it might take a little bit of time for everything to get picking up on it. So, I mean, we'll have to.
Yeah, but then I'm like, I don't want to stop watching the show.
Oh, no, we'll keep watching the show.
Yeah, maybe we'll do like a 2 a week until we're caught up or something. Well, anyways, eventually, you guys start putting stuff in the comments, and the first show that when we're recording it and you guys are doing your 5-star reviews and all that, you'll hear from us, no matter what. But
Once
anyways,
we'll work on it.
Yeah.
We promise.
Yeah, but we're just doing this so that way, by the time you guys start listening, we're like a little bit ahead. We got some time. We're not gonna slack off on you guys, and it just kind of helps us to like know where the show's going, because we just kind of started this thing with some sound bites. That's really all we did. I grabbed some random sound bites, and we were just like, let's just start recording. So we're still figuring out transitions and all that. If you ever have any ideas of some not transitions, some segments, let us know, because
What can we do to make it better? Because we want to make it fun.
Yeah.
And I'm not a very creative person. He is.
Yeah, that's all I
not.
got. But that's all I got. So sometimes
I just say random
overly
funny
creative.
things.
That's, yeah, you're the spontaneity of this show. Wow, that was a great word.
I just got to definitely filter a lot of the funny things I say.
Yes, this is a family-friendly show, because
No.
Boruto is a family-friendly show too, I think. Besides the killing,
You know,
but maybe.
And the sexy jutsu.
Oh, that is weird. Yeah, that's always weird. I'm like, oh, why is this in the
one
show?
of the guys' nicknames was Pervy Sage.
You're right. Well,
It's a moderately, PG-13. How's that?
yeah,
Is that acceptable?
that's what we'll say. But
I
anyways,
mean, we'll still behave.
but anyways, let's go ahead and get into episode 6.
Boruto Uzumaki has arrived on the scene, you know?
We should start writing down the actual names of the shows too.
Yeah.
I always forget about that.
Oh, the episodes, like
Yeah, because they have actual names to them.
yeah, they do. I think this one's called. Oh, I already remember. This one's called The Final Lesson.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Yep.
It makes sense, and I just watched it today, so I know that's what it is. I don't remember what the last one was called. It might have been like the new student, like Mitsuki or transfer student.
Bugs and a teddy bear.
Yeah, there you go. Bugs and a teddy bear. That's what we should name it.
Yes.
Yeah, because we're gonna name all of our episodes, so we'll do it like funny names. Yeah, I'm really see if I would have done like something with like Naruto, I definitely would have done like the mommy in my tummy or something like that. But anyways,
My tummy hurts.
yeah. Anyways, let's go ahead and start talking about what happened in this episode. So we left off with Shino Sensei about to teach them their final lesson. He lures them out with a note in the middle of the woods for some training.
Children, if a teacher ever tries to lure you into the woods, tell an adult that you trust.
Yes. Tell an adult that you trust.
Public service announcement.
But anyways, so as you know from the last episode, he got bit by this purple chakra. We don't know what it is yet, but it makes people rampage, do bad things. They're not themselves when they do it, because they're always like, "What just happened? Why would I do that?" Or like Metal was all freaked out when it happened with him. But anyways, so this has gotten Shino Sensei a Jonin level. Is that it? Jonin. I was like, I'm missing a part. So he has led Boruto, Shikadai, and the new student Mitsuki out. And I'm
Come on, you just met the new student. Like,
I know.
what kind of impression is that?
Yeah. But at the end of the last episode, I don't want to be excited about this happening because this is a terrible thing that Shino Sensei has done. Let his students out in the middle of the woods to kill them, it looks like. But I was really excited about this because I was like, if he goes all out, we're going to see some of Mitsuki because he's obviously stronger than we know you.
He's going to have to do something.
So I think, that's why I was honestly excited. And as you know, we've already watched this episode because we're talking about this episode. So my excitement was fulfilled. Anyways, so Shino legitimately says that he's going to kill them pretty soon after this episode starts. He has like bugs crawling out of his skin. He's bleeding.
Oh my goodness.
So he's like fully in this.
And up until then, like, they were scared, but they just thought that they were going to get a little beating or something. And then he's like, no, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
And they're just like, what?
Yep. And then,
So I think that'd be my reaction too.
yeah. And then Shikadai is like, Boruto, this is all your fault. Go ahead and hurry up and apologize. And
Apologize. Say you're sorry. You did everything. I'll apologize too. Mitsuki, you need to apologize.
Yeah, and
of
then
course,
Mitsuki's just like,
what did I
need?
do?
Yeah, what did I do? But so then Shikadai is like bowing and like saying, I'm sorry, and like pushing down Baruto's head to make sure he's doing it. But it's too late. I mean, in Shino Sensei's head, he's just ready to kill them.
There's no negotiating in this one.
No, this dude has bugs crawling out of his skin and it's making him bleed. He's going all out, which is kind of weird that he keeps bugs in his skin.
That's how he does it. Like, he actually keeps them fully inside of him. Remember, like, we learned about that in Naruto? Like, that's where they host the bugs. It's not a contract like the other one said, but it's kind of like similar. Like, it's a kind of like a deal. Like, basically the bugs feed on his chakra network, and he controls them using it too. So, like, they're literally in his body.
Yeah. See, I always thought he just had them under his like robes or whatnot, but
no, they're inside him.
Man, well, that's weird. But anyways, so once they realize he's going all out, I think he already starts trying to attack them, and then they throw some kunai at him, and they just stop because the bugs have actually like made some kind of webbing with like between themselves.
Makes you think that he's got spiders in there too, and that just makes it even worse.
Yeah. And he breeds them and whatnot for like different abilities. But anyways, I mean, I don't think I'm trying to think about this before, but I don't remember him having this ability before, like with them actually having webbing. The bugs. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Let me know. But anyway, so he's definitely stronger than the last time we saw Shino.
Oh, absolutely. Last time we saw him fight, I mean,
Oh yeah,
which makes sense. I mean, we're 10 years later, so I'm assuming
Yeah.
he's been training.
yeah, and he like figures out new things with his bugs and like cultivates this kind and makes it better. So his stuff's only going to get better. But anyway, so then yeah. So Boruto sees, so Boruto finally sees that Shino has the purple chakra around him, and he
And
lets.
at that point, he knows he's in trouble.
Yes, so that's when they kind of get serious because he tells Shikadai it's the same thing. So Shikadai is kind of in on this eyeball thing, but doesn't know it's his eye. But he knows that Boruto somehow knows because Boruto has proven over and over and over that he can see something, and when they knock it out, and he's like, "Oh yeah, it's gone," it's gone.
Okay, and why is it that it always seems to happen when Baruto's around and like it's not really like it doesn't seem to it always happens around him. It doesn't seem to happen like across the city and then he has to or just happen like is it something controlling trying to maybe go after him or something maybe like because I mean I don't know I'm getting curious because well on the other hand this is the first time he's ever actually been the specific target right
Yeah.
so I mean he just Metal was going after Shikadai, Denki was going after the bullies. The random guy was just mad, I guess.
Yep.
And then I guess technically he was kind of part of it with the worker, like just kind of going after school. He was just mad at students. But really he was just trying to destroy the school again.
Yeah,
So,
but he's always around.
he's always there. So like, what's the reason?
Yeah, and I think it was something that Shikadai said really like quick in the last episode. We didn't even talk about it, but I believe he said something like, "Whenever is this connected to Mitsuki?" But Mitsuki hasn't always been around, as far as we know.
He seemed to see it too, right? Like, because he went after the guy, like he knew something was wrong, and so like it seemed because he did say something. He kind of made a comment that almost made it seem like he could see it as well. Because I think it was in his head. He was like, he sees it too, or he knows what's going on. So like, how does he see it?
Yeah, but I think Shikadai is thinking it's Mitsuki possibly doing this.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
here we go again, Shino. But I don't know if it's more likely that something's trying to get to Boruto or that Mitsuki's doing it. Maybe they could be together, but I don't know. I'm not really feeling Mitsuki because why would he do that to himself?
I don't know.
But
I mean, if he could control it theoretically, then I guess it would be okay. But I mean, at this point, we have no sense that he can. It just seems like I don't know if they're under control, if they're just raging at whatever they're mad at.
Yeah. But anyways, so then the three kids kind of get some distance from Shino, and then Shino is just kind of like going all out, and like he just kind of lets the bugs go, and the bugs are just like tearing down the trees and everything, kind of slowly going towards them. And Shikadai is kind of seeing all this and like, guys, he's serious. Like this is gonna get bad.
Oh yeah, and he's knowing that he's gotta get or that they can't really take him.
Yeah,
they're like he's a Jonin level or a ninja. Like they can't. The three of them together, they can't beat him as far as they know. Like I mean, we don't know how strong Mitsuki is yet, so maybe there's something else going on there. But I can't imagine he's at a Jonin level skill level. So yeah, it's a little weird.
Yeah. So then he tries to use shadow paralysis on him, and like. And you'd almost think that Shino is like trying to defend it off, but he doesn't really try. It doesn't really work. The bugs kind of like it gets some of the bugs, but then like the bugs, there's just more bugs. Like, and
Which
then they
that
just
kinda
go
makes sense,
past
right?
shadow paralysis.
Because like they're different individual bugs, so like technically you'd have to hit each
All of them.
individual shadow. So
Yeah,
like, there's too many bugs for that.
yeah. So they kind of, I think that's the show kind of quickly showing you like with the bugs, shadow paralysis jutsu is not going to work.
It's like the only way you can probably do that is if you get Shino himself. But I think theoretically he could probably still control the bugs. So even if you got him specifically, because it doesn't seem like he's doing anything in particular to control him. It's basically more just like mentally he's telling him what to do.
Yeah.
So even if you got him, I don't think you could beat him with it.
No, like he doesn't do like jutsu hand signs when he's controlling the bugs. So it's like a thing that we don't even know about that how he's controlling them. But so then shadow paralysis jutsu doesn't work, and the bugs get on Boruto. So they get on his legs and they start like spreading up his body. And I was kind of like, I know these things eat chakra, and if he's trying to kill them, Boruto's about to die.
Oh yeah,
Because if you run out of chakra, 100% you're dead.
And like, there's no getting out of that one. Like, or at least doesn't seem like it. Because how do you get them all off? Especially with the amount that are swarming. Because Boruto can't really fight them off at the moment. But thankfully he gets saved.
Yeah. Well, and first Shino's like kind of going on a little rant with
I don't remember
talking. He's saying something about like as they're going to Boruto. I forget what rant he's going on, but I'm sure he's talking about like, you guys, make me look bad. You deserve to die.
This is such drag.
Yeah. But then, but as it's happening before Boruto dies or anything, Mitsuki does another wind breakthrough. So we saw that at the party, like the huge, like crazy gust of wind. And it pushes all the bugs off of Boruto. So they actually have some kind of strategy. Wind pushes the bugs. Because Shadow Prowess doesn't work.
But those bugs only weigh so much. They can't fight the wind.
Oh, so now I remember. My bad. See, sometimes I don't write everything down in here. But how Boruto got hit is he did a few shadow clones and was trying to go against Shino. And Shino was, just grabbing him. And he was like, you think I'm going to fall for that one? So I just won the book, a.k.a. because Naruto did him. He grew up with Naruto. He knows that. And then the real one was coming down from the top. And
that's right.
He hit him. And yeah, that's when he got the bugs on him. But anyways, then so Boruto, they kind of get back, they run away, and then Boruto suggests knocking him out. But Shikadai is like, I don't know if you knew this, Boruto, but how are we gonna knock out Shino Sensei? Like that's not gonna work.
Not a chance.
And then
you'd have to fight through all the bugs first. And then, I don't know how skilled Shino is with taijutsu, but I bet he's got a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And, yeah, so then they're kind of talking about different ways, like maybe we should go get another teacher or, escape. Because that seems like the obvious solution. Like, if you can't win, you can run away.
It's like,
especially if he
Boruto,
doesn't know where you are.
Go get your dad. That's kind of like the thought process. He'll take care of it.
Yeah.
But then we realize the problem.
Yeah, then Mitsuki says, actually, the bugs are like all over the forest, and he's like using them to track where they are. And so if they move too much, the bugs are gonna, find where he's at. Well, where they're at, then he's gonna show up there. AKA, we can't run away.
Yeah, they're too far away.
Stuck out in the forest here. They're kind of up in a tree, so that's probably why they're okay. But with the bugs being spread out through the forest, and he's a tracker. That's his thing. He's gonna find them, and that's what Mitsuki's like. This isn't gonna work, guys. And then kind of does a little flash scene over to Iruka Sensei, kind of like, hey, where's Shino? And then they kind of, they're all using computers now. So now they're on a computer, kind of looking at his calendar. It's like a Google Calendar. And then basically says that he is doing extracurricular lesson or something around like that. Like, oh, he's doing that. And then
there's no kind of extracurricular like murdering students, apparently.
Yeah, exactly. It's good training. If they survive, good job. I'm sure you learned something. Some survival skills.
Yeah.
Oh, I have on one of the other ones. Anyways, so then Iruka's kind of thinking like, oh, I think I went a little bit harsh on him because he was really harsh on him before. Like, yeah, we can just replace you.
Yeah.
If you can't handle it, then just
let's not give you any advice on how to do it a little better. We'll just tell you that you suck and that we'll have someone else do it if you can't match up.
Yeah.
That's a great way to keep your teachers, guys.
Yep, that's a great way. Lead by example. But then anyways, so then Boruto realizes that he doesn't have all bugs. Okay. So they're still trying to. So they realize like they can't really escape fast. They can't really beat him up. So they're kind of still trying to figure something out. And so they're kind of going somewhere else. They're hiding in the grass, and then Boruto trips like near a river, and there's some bugs. He's like, "Oh no, there's bugs!" And then they kind of Shikadai walks over and he's like, "Yeah, these aren't Shino Sensei's bugs, so we're okay." Like he doesn't control all bugs, and it's those like little insects, and
So he's got the ones that he kind of basically grew in his body.
right. Ugh.
Gross.
Yeah, that's kind of gross.
Just a little bit. It just makes you think of like parasites and
That's what they
worms in
are.
your
They are
intestines.
parasites.
They are actually. Yeah, they feed on the stalker, aren't they? Ooh.
Yeah, parasitic insects.
Hopefully none of them get caught in the digestive system as there. I wonder if that happens. 'Cause then do you got to grab them out and put them back in? That's disturbing.
That's weird that a whole clan does this. You know what I mean? It's
You
just
know,
weird.
There are all kinds of different cultures in the world, and people do weird things sometimes.
You know what? We
But what we
shouldn't
consider
judge.
weird, exactly.
We shouldn't judge.
Except the cannibals, we can judge them.
Yeah, that's weird. Please don't do that. We're having a lot of like public announcements today. Like, yeah, cannibalism we don't agree with the show catching up with Boruto. Cannibalism is bad.
And murdering students, that's also bad.
Yes.
Don't agree with that.
No, we don't agree with that. But anyways, so this is when Boruto kind of learns, oh, okay, he doesn't control all insects. He has his own insects that he controls. So it's the show kind of trying to.
And he kind of noticed that, like when the ones that were on him, and when he hit the water, they kind of fell off a little bit too.
Yeah,
So
well,
I don't know if he necessarily noticed that, but I mean, I noticed it initially. I was like, oh, there's a possible defense.
yeah. So that's actually what we're getting into next. So, yeah, they realize he doesn't control all bugs, but not too much longer. Like Boruto is just like looking behind Shikadai. He's like, Shikadai, because there's like a bunch of bugs, like a ball of them. But then like,
No, he doesn't control all bugs, but if they're making a tornado,
yeah,
they're probably
they're
Shinos.
they're probably Shinos. And then he kind of like sticks his face out of the bugs, so he's pretty powerful. I mean, he's just hovering around with the bugs. And then
Which, that's a question I have. Does he like just teleport, or do they like carry him, or how does that work?
I guess they carry him. He's just like flying around. I guess that's what I would assume. Like he has like a bunch of bugs out tracking, and he's just in like a Wizard of Oz bubble flying around. But then, yeah, so they try to use a paper bomb, and it blows up, but explosions don't work. Like, I guess there's enough bugs, they die. Who cares? He's got a bunch of bugs. So then they kind of say, like, oh, that doesn't work. So they're going through all these things that aren't gonna work with Shino. They're like figuring out this doesn't work, this doesn't work, this doesn't work. Because Shikadai is obviously trying to figure out strategy. But then as they're running away, they kind of like, as they're stepping, they create like a little splash. And when the bugs are following them, that splash, the bugs go around the water. So Shikadai picks that up, and he's like, they don't like water. Which
That makes sense. Yeah.
interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess bugs.
You spray a fly with something around the house, their wings get wet and they fall, right?
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. But
Look at that.
anyways,
They're using real world knowledge.
yeah, they're using real world knowledge. Wow. But
I mean, let's be honest. Boruto is the real world. Come on.
yeah, I would say so.
Absolutely.
I mean, we're wearing headbands.
Yeah, right.
I'm a part of the Hidden Leaf Village.
You know, if you give me some chemicals that are dangerous for my body in a match, I can blow fire.
Yeah. Yeah. So then they Shikadai and Boruto are running away, and Mitsuki's just creeping. He's just up in the trees watching them. I don't know if
He's just like, whatever. They're not really going after him at that point. They're just
No.
kinda like, he's just like, I'm just going to watch everything.
yeah, and
I don't
he doesn't
care.
really care about people dying. Apparently,
It doesn't seem to matter that maybe he doesn't care about himself dying either. Like,
Yeah, we get that at the end of the episode too.
oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but no, you're right. Because at this point in the episode, I was just like, he's just kind of like one of those guys who's like, oh, whatever happens, happens.
But then it kind of like makes you go back to what we were thinking about in the last one, where like he seemed to have that interest in Boruto and
Yeah.
wanting to make sure that he lives because is he his son? S-U-N.
Yeah. Is he his son?
Is he his star? Can we do that
Well,
so we don't confuse it?
we know Mitsuki hasn't been in the sun that much.
Oh,
So
clearly not.
This dude is pale. like if you put a sheet of college ruled white paper next to him,
He's paler than that.
yeah, he's paler than that. So maybe that's why he needs a son. Or maybe
Get
he
a
has
little
some
tan?
kind of genetic disorder, and that's why he's in the trees.
Could be.
I'm just kidding. Obviously, it's probably not it. But anyways,
That explains why he was asking why he didn't have a classroom. The sun is dangerous.
he needs. Yeah. Anyways,
Or
we
maybe
keep
he's
going.
just covered in sunblock.
Ah,
That's why he's so white.
man. But so then Boruto tells Mitsuki the truth. I think it was Mitsuki about seeing the chakra. So basically, like, yeah, there's something wrong with these people that we keep on seeing, like something's controlling them. I think that's kind of the right wording. But then so Mitsuki's like, okay, well, I guess we should kill him. I guess we should kill Shino Sensei. I mean, he's trying to kill us, so shouldn't we go at the same level? And
that seems to be his immediate answer to everything. We should just kill them.
yeah, I mean, and Shikadai kind of, it's
To
almost
be
like,
fair, I understand it.
yeah. I mean, like, this is a survival class.
Yeah, like Shino, if he's, because at this one, the other ones they could probably fight off. I mean, Metal was pretty dangerous, but the other ones they weren't quite as dangerous.
Yeah,
This one, yeah, he can like legit kill you.
yeah, and we don't even know if like Metal's intent was to kill them. Shino is trying to kill them.
Yeah.
And he even said at one of these times when he's fighting them, like he forgot how much fun it was to actually battle, to be in like an actual fight. Maybe he wasn't supposed to be a teacher, but yeah, he's looking to kill. And then so yeah, Mitsuki suggests killing, and it looks like Shikadai is kind of being like, well, maybe
It's
try
like,
and
yeah,
go.
we might not have a
He doesn't really
choice.
say anything against it. He almost looks like, gives a face like, it's sad to say, but you're kind of right. But then Shikadai, well, Boruto actually says, no, we're not killing him. We're not killing anybody. Nobody's dying today.
Which that kind of goes to your other flash of versus Naruto and Boruto. Like, I mean, Naruto wasn't ever trying to like go out and kill it, but he was not. You could tell by the way that he went after people. Like, he didn't care. Well, I mean, his goal was just to stop him in whatever way necessary. For the most part. I mean, there were some ones where he felt a little bad for him, and he was trying to stop them or trying to bring them to their senses. But he was like, kind of got to the point where he was just like, if I got to kill you, I got to kill you. And Boruto is just kind of that opposite, and he's like, no, he's got to save anyone. And I think it kind of goes back to a point you made in like one of our earlier episodes where you kind of put that whole hero complex thought of going on, like he's got to save everyone.
Yep.
I wonder if that's kind of more like the fact that it's a time of peace and they're not in a war type of environment, and the way the Leaf is developed, they're not really going on missions and fighting all the time. So, I mean, granted, they wouldn't be going yet, but most of the adults aren't going and doing that either. So maybe it's not being really taught that way like it was.
Yeah. When outside of the kids, we don't even really know what's going on in the Leaf yet. They haven't even showed us much of the Leaf Village.
All they say is it's a time of peace. That's it.
Yeah, that's all we've gotten.
And a train.
Yeah. There's a train. We haven't been in many buildings yet. If anything, buildings have been getting blown up, and now we're outside and trying to survive in the woods. I accidentally jumped ahead with the Boruto, no killing. But anyway, so Shikadai is trying to suggest a plan. Like, we got to come up with a plan because there's no way we're going to escape. There's no way we can just knock him out. We have to actually come up with a plan to bring him down. And so he's kind of saying, like, we need a decoy in order for this plan to work, his plan to work. And so he goes through a few different things he's noticed. First of all, Shino Sensei doesn't seem like he's in a right state of mind. Like, he's, like, leaving himself vulnerable. He's kind of going all out. And then, so it's like we should take advantage of that. And second, that the water and the bugs don't like each other. And then... But yeah, so he wants a decoy in order for this to work. Then he kind of looks like at Mitsuki, and he's like, I think Mitsuki should be the decoy because he's, really strong. He's not even sweating.
We kind of skipped over, I think, a little part too, where kind of like first plan, like, and it kind of goes back to some other questions that we had. Like, he saved Boruto by like the hand stretching thing, like the arm stretching.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and like his basically like Fantastic Four guy, whatever his name is.
Oh,
like
Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah, and just like goes out and catches it in his arm stretch. Which, if I remember correctly, we know who also did that.
Yeah, Orochimaru.
So like that kind of like goes back into that one. So kind of brings us back on that part of it. But yeah, I think that's kind of where Shikadai's plan kind of kicks in.
Yeah,
once we figure out what the plan is.
Yeah, and then Shikadai is kind of like, looks like you have a lot of chakra left, a lot of energy left. Look at us. we're like
Naruto's already
sweating.
been drained from the bugs.
Yeah. And then Shigadai's feeling it, and Mitsuki's just A-okay. And then he says like, and you I'm sure you have other stuff up your sleeve because you can already do all these things. So I'm sure you have more. And then so Mitsuki's like, okay,
That's fine.
that's reasonable. he doesn't care about his life either, it seems like. He's just like, oh, that's reasonable. But then Boruto is like, no, I'm going to be the decoy. I still got a little bit of chakra left.
Which,
And
thinking about that, not the best plan, because if those bugs get him,
yeah.
he's going down quick.
Yeah. And then, but he's like, but I can do shadow clones, and so I'm good for a decoy. I can still do a few shadow clones.
But the shadow clones use so much chakra.
Yeah. Yep. And, but he suggests that, and I think Baruto's kind of, well, we even get a thing in Shikadai's head, like, and also he doesn't really trust Mitsuki.
So he's like,
so he's like, go ahead and be the
Mitsuki
decoy.
he dies. It's kind of like what he's thinking.
Yeah. And then, but Baruto says that he will be the decoy, and then Baruto kind of comes back to like, no one's gonna die, and well, he doesn't come back. This is when he says, but no one's gonna die, and Baruto wants to be the one who kind of fixes it because he's the one who feels like he kind of made this whole situation happen.
Which, to be fair, he kind of did.
Yeah. And then you want to go ahead? You can do the next part.
All right, so we kind of get to Baruto on the attack. So they're kind of getting the plan in place, and so Baruto kind of, like I said, he's a decoy, so he's fighting or trying to fight Shino Sensei, and at that time, Shikadai is trying to use the shadow paralysis jutsu, but he misses, or did he? No, really, what ends up happening is he's kind of pushing him back and trying to get him to avoid, and Shino Sensei ends up on the water, but apparently the students haven't learned this. Ninja can walk on water.
Yeah.
So they're trying to push him into the water, thinking that, if we get him in there, then the bugs are going to be, the bugs are going to be useless, or we can at least get him under and cause all these problems. Or at least that's what my first impression was initially. But kind of seems like Shikadai actually really did know what was going on. So anyway, they get him onto the water. Shino realized the plan, but not Mitsuki. Sorry. Shino realized what the plan was going on, but he didn't know where Mitsuki was. That's what we're going with there. And because at the time, there's only Baruto attacking him and Shikadai trying to grab him with the shadow paralysis jutsu. But we didn't know Mitsuki wasn't anywhere to be seen. Yeah. Which initially I was like, well, is it just that Shikadai doesn't trust him, or what's going on? But we kind of see him in his in the background hiding. But then Shino releases waterproof bugs, so ones that can kind of deal with everything and handle it. Which there are bugs that run on water.
Well, yeah. So because Mitsuki can do like the long hand Mr. Fantastic thing. So you kind of like saw like a little bit of Mitsuki was in the water. So yeah, and Shino Sensei's like, guys.
Oh, sorry, I thought we jumped ahead. My bad.
Oh, you're good. You're good. Shino Sensei's like, guys, I understand what you're doing. You don't think I can look through this plan? You're trying to get me over here in the water, but I don't care. It's not gonna. You're not gonna do anything because his bugs couldn't come over to the water, so you're like isolating them. But then Mitsuki's hands are in the water, and you're thinking like, oh, his hands are all the way over there, but he has Mr. Fantastic hands, stretchable hands. So then Mitsuki actually grabs his feet and then yanks him under the water, and then he kind of like goes like towards Shino Sensei. He's like grappling him and just like
has him wrapped up so he can't move.
Yeah, and then
we hit the honestly coolest power, which if I was a ninja,
so then he
want?
releases the waterproof bugs.
Oh yeah,
and that's where like Mitsuki's like, uh-oh.
So they're kind of going around and fighting. So he's got to figure out something, which kind of goes back to what we learned about Mitsuki in the last episode. He's talented in wind jutsu and lightning jutsu. So, like I said, this would be like if I was a ninja, I would want to have lightning style. That would be my favorite by far, easily. So he does his snake lightning, and basically kind of like really electrocuting Shino probably as well, but also hitting his bugs, which bugs are strong, but I think they're still prone to lightning a little bit, right?
Yeah, and we're in the water.
Yeah,
so it's like,
amplifies it even
Yeah.
more. So they're getting zapped. So thankfully Naruto or Shikadai weren't in there because it would have been a bad situation. Or sorry, yeah, no, Shikadai. Thought I said Shino for a second. Don't mean to do that. So anyway, Shikadai's kind of incapacitated at that point, but they're sinking and all this stuff. So Boruto, realizing that there's a problem, jumps in the water to go save Mitsuki. And they're kind of sinking down, gets in there. But at the same time, Shino, so that lightning, though, it kind of like cleared Shino's senses, right? He kind of, that chakra leaves him. He's normal, ends up getting out of the water. And at this point, he's fine. He's realizing that there's a problem. But that lightning really beat him up. So that's kind of goes back to that point where we're seeing that Shino or Mitsuki's a lot more powerful. Like he just took out a Shonin or a Jonin level ninja relatively easily. I mean, yeah, I needed some distraction, but like pretty much one shot kind of thing just took him out. So clearly very strong.
Yeah. And even Shikadai says something about that. Like, he says something like, you know, even though he's a Jonin with lightning that close, it doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, I mean, who can take that? Like, ooh, that'd be painful and burning. Ooh.
Yeah.
I mean, at least you got the water to kind of cool it off. Anyway, so anyway, he gets out. So Baruto's going in there to save Mitsuki. Shino does a summon to save them. So he ends up. He kind of realizes that he was possessed. Sorry, I think I'm kind of missing a part.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, so Baruto jumps in there and is trying to save Mitsuki because Mitsuki is just like, I overdid it. Whoops. And I don't have enough energy to swim back up. So I'm going to die. Oh, well. And then Baruto, you know, jumps in, and he's super tired. But so he grabs Mitsuki. He's like trying to pull him back up. But then, you know, even Shikadai is like, Baruto's overdoing it. And they're trying to swim up, but Baruto isn't. He's not getting it done. You know, they're both kind of like, he's trying to get him, but they're not making it. And Shino's like trying to find the energy to save them.
He's like incapacitated, like laying on the beach, like can't even move.
Yeah.
Anyway, so someone like, what did he summon? He summoned something. I can't remember.
It was a big beetle, like a flying beetle.
Right. So it was at the bottom. For some reason, I think I was mixing up the fact, like, as Baruto was reaching out for him, for some reason I was thinking Shino did that. Which I was like, that's completely wrong.
Yeah. So yeah, Shino kind of like gets the nerve up, gets the energy, like kind of hobbles and dives in. But because he didn't have the energy probably either get them back up, he does a summon, you know, bites his thumb in the water and summons the beetle, I guess, under all of them. And then they get, you know, flies out. It's like a helicopter rescue, like drops him off, then it poofs away, and they're all just
that
laying
one was
down.
waterproof.
Yeah, clearly that one was. So I guess this water, I guess Shino was just, when he was like paralyzed, was just like, I don't care, come get me. You guys have no, like, he underestimated them. Yeah, so.
Anyway, so he saves them. Once they kind of get out, Shino kind of realizes that he was possessed, and he kind of like starts thinking about, like, he remembers everything he could do, but it was like he wasn't in control of his body.
Right.
Like the anger was there, and he knew what was going on, but it was out of his control.
Right.
Like he was just being like. So that kind of brings me back to the question: like, are they being controlled from their rage specifically, or is it just that little bit of anger just takes over their entire brain, and there's nothing that they can do about it?
Yeah,
that's kind of where I keep kind of going back. Where it seems to keep jumping back and forth with me. I can't decide what I think is going on.
Yeah, it's almost like instead of, I don't know if they're being possessed and like they don't remember anything and they're being fully controlled. And I don't think they're being fully controlled.
It seems like he remembers.
It seems like, you know, if you have two options, like, and to take the high road, and then that is just eliminated, and you have to do all the things like you don't want to do or that you shouldn't do, but
so
your only choice.
It takes away all inhibition, maybe a little bit.
I think that's more. So it's like, oh man, my students are terrible. You know, there's a few options here. You know, I could get over it. I could be sad. I could blah, blah, blah. I could kill him. And then when that's your only option.
Which I can understand. You know, we have some teacher friends, and, you know, every single one of our teacher friends absolutely loves their students. But there are also days they come home and they always say, gosh, my students drive me crazy.
Yeah.
You know, so they love you, but you get under their nerves. So I guess you kind of take away that that loving aspect of it, then that other part just gets amplified maybe. So maybe that's kind of like the ballpark. Of
Yeah.
it. It's just like takes all that reason away and they just act on anger and frustration that's there. So
Yeah.
makes sense.
And this is kind of helping us too, because so far everyone who's been like possessed or whatever with the purple chakra, they haven't really put words to it. You know, like they were kind of like, I don't know why I did that. That's pretty much all they've said.
Yeah.
But Shino, I mean, he's a Jonin. He's very far, and he's kind of like, no, something was wrong. You know, I don't, you know, I couldn't do anything. And so he's like putting words to like what's going on. You know, everything, like no one really knows what's gone on so far. It's been like a little Boruto and Shikadai and the buds. They all kind of know, but no one else really knows. Like no Jonin or leadership. But because it's happened to Shino Sensei, you know, he's going to go about the right way. But yeah, he can kind of put words to it. Like something was like controlling me, or I couldn't make, like there's nothing I could do.
So is it that no one knows it all though? Because I mean, I'm trying to think. Like they had, shouldn't they? See, they kind of give like an insinuation that they told somebody a little bit about, it. Especially like because that first bit with Baruto and Denki. You know, they crashed the train into the side of Naruto's face there, and you know there was no problems. But it seemed like they kind of hinted at the fact that they kind of because like Denki was like so thankful for him and like taking the blame, and he tried to say no, this was my fault, and Baruto stopped him. So like. Maybe did they tell anyone what was going on about it? Because it seems like because they didn't get punished drastically, so maybe there was a little bit, and that's why the punishment wasn't anywhere near as severe and harsh as it could have been.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes you wonder if they're actually looking into anything at all, or if it's on the radar. Or
Yeah, because we're seeing everything from the kids' point of view right now, so we don't really know, like, you know, if people are looking into this right now. Well, we kind of get a little glimpse of that at the end of this episode, but then. Yeah, so then,
so yeah,
going
so
back,
he says he was possessed,
Yep.
but Shino no longer thinks that he shouldn't be a teacher, right? So they're kind of at this point he's back with Iruka Sensei, I believe it was, and I think was Shikamaru and Naruto, or that was more towards the end, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was more towards
the end. Sorry.
So I put this in here where he's apologizing to the students. He's saying like I shouldn't be doing this. You know, I've failed you, kind of stuff.
I thought he was doing that one with the teacher too, because he also says it. Okay, because he says it a lot.
He's a sad guy.
Yeah, understandably. So well, anyway, he's apologizing to the students, which of course he should be. Like, I'm sorry, I was going to kill you. I don't want to kill you anymore. Well, that's kind of a weird apology, but I mean, at least we're on. I don't want to. It didn't go the opposite way because that would suck.
Yeah.
But honestly, they kind of, if I remember right, they kind of were just like, yeah, it's okay. We're not mad at you, which makes sense. Like they've seen what's been going on and how it affects people, so they're kind of realizing like it's not his fault. He didn't actually want to hurt us or anything like that. But he couldn't control it. So they're kind of learning a little bit more about it as well.
Yeah. And Baruto apologized and says that he was wrong. For like all the stuff that he's been doing to Shino Sensei,
letting things get a little out of hand and not taking things as seriously, pretty much. But then we kind of flash forward to Shino handing in basically his letter of recognition, saying that, or not recognition, resignation.
I forget if it was that or just the report of what happened.
Well, I think he gave his resignation as well and told him that he shouldn't, or that he was gonna leave as well, if I remember correct.
Yeah.
But yeah, he gives a report of what happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think he kind of brought that in as well. I kind of lumped those together, I guess.
Yeah. I guess it could maybe have been a report and him also saying, yeah, but I shouldn't be doing this.
That's how.
Either way, it was a report because I know Shikamaru like read some kind of report, so maybe it's the same thing.
Maybe, or maybe I'm just completely missing it. Who knows? That's possible. Anyway, he hands a report, and but Shikamaru kind of agrees that he wasn't himself, and which is pretty good. Like, and I think that definitely any one of them, Shikamaru, Naruto, all of them, they grew up with him. They know who
he's
he
not
is.
gonna kill a bunch of students.
Yeah, they know the kind of guy he is in his character, and like we all know that too. Like that's not who he is. I can't ever think of anything bad that Shikamaru or that Shino's ever done or anything like that. So I mean, he's a good guy no matter what. But Naruto kind of just says like he wasn't himself. But that they wouldn't have stood a chance. In that situation, so none of them really.
He kind of brings this little idea like, yeah, well, we know you weren't yourself because if you were yourself, they would be dead.
Fair point. Like that's kind of right because they kind of like talked about how that's kind of one of the reasons like he was a little bit more weakened because he was blind. He wasn't really strategic.
Right, because he's also really defensive when he fights, and he was like letting his defenses go a bunch. Like he was just sending his bugs out, and he was like leaving openings for himself, even though his openings still had webbing that were stopping everything. But yeah, Naruto kind of turns around in his chair because he's big 7th Hokage. But then it definitely says, I know you weren't yourself, otherwise those kids wouldn't have stood a chance. And then Naruto thanks him for being like their teacher and all that. So it's like, wow, you almost just killed your kid, Naruto, and you're thanking him. Wait, so he believes him. Believe it. That was terrible.
To be fair, like Naruto does tend to see the good in everyone as well, right? So,
yep. But and they know him. That's the thing too. Like, why would a guy who tried to kill somebody randomly change all of a sudden after like getting hurt, and then like be handing in like a report or resignation? Like those two things don't go hand in hand.
And I mean, on the other side, like the report would also say that he's the one that actually saved their life in the end too.
Yeah,
right?
he did
because they were gonna die. Boruto and Mitsuki were dead.
Yep.
If it wasn't for him, so.
Yep. But then we get the big statement kind of from the end of the last episode where it's like this happened to Shino Sensei, like he got controlled. So Shikamaru kind of does this little, obviously this is Shikadai's dad. Their names are really similar. So if anyone's like brand new to the universe, different. So this is his dad. But yeah, so Shikamaru, I almost said Shikadai. Anyways, Shikamaru is saying like he is really concerned because he's basically saying like this can happen at the Jonin level. This is bad. Like, so
you'd think that level they
it's
might
almost
be
like
more immune
lucky
to it.
that it was Shino compared to some of these guys. Not saying that Shino's weak, but like obviously like I mean think of like I don't know, like you're thinking of all these different characters, and of course we're all thinking, what if this happens to Naruto? Like,
plus I mean on the other hand it's like it's more of I guess it could be more on the side of like if they can control their emotions or not. That's kind of the way you beat it, right?
Yeah.
So on the other hand, what if Sasuke were to get in contract? Because he's a guy that he's always angry no matter what. Even when he was the good guy, he was still angry.
Yeah.
Or at least that's the vibe I got.
Yeah.
So I was like, if that thing got him, oh boy, there's no stopping that one.
No. But anyway, so in this episode, we're going to go to the segment. We're going to look a little bit deeper with the Sharingan. Hey, we have a segment.
Yeah.
Kind of. I don't know if that's the best sound. I might get a better Sharingan sound. I think that was like a really old one.
Or like when Sasuke like yelling it like Sharingan.
Yeah. But anyway, so just have a few questions here. So we saw a few things of Mitsuki's arsenal, like a few different jutsus, weird arms, all those kind of things.
Saw his lightning.
What else does he have up his sleeve? That's kind of what I'm like. And it seems like even when he did that, like, he overdid it when he was in the water.
Or maybe
he's
he
not
just
like all
can't swim.
powerful. He can't swim.
Maybe.
When you have super long arms and stuff, you can just grab yourself out. Maybe.
Yeah, why didn't he do that? He could just grabbed a rock and pulled himself up.
Yeah, but I guess he really overdid it. Like, and he was underwater for a while.
I mean, maybe the fact that he was in the water and used lightning, maybe it electrocuted himself too.
Maybe he hurt himself.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And so he definitely overdid it. But yeah, we're kind of all wondering like, what else does he have up his sleeve? If he's tied with Orochimaru, he probably has more things up his sleeve. It seems like if they're just showing this us at the beginning and he's still a mysterious character, seems like he has more up his sleeve since he's a mysterious character.
Or are they just baiting us?
Yeah, that could be it. That's all he's got. He can do lightning, a few wind styles, and then he's got wiggly arms. And he's good at escape jutsu.
So what do you think? I feel like at this point, I no longer would put him as one of the ones involved with the like mysterious chakra, just because I feel like he wouldn't have been fighting against it if that was the case.
I don't think he would have been fighting against it. It almost killing him. It
Or
seems
was he like trying to win trust. Maybe I'm a little skeptical sometimes. I I believe in I conspiracy theory shows a lot.
Yeah.
Twist, double twist, and triple twist. You know.
Yeah. I think with the show like letting us in his head, like, oh, I think I overdid it. Well, I'm gonna die, and that wasn't for anyone else's benefit. Like he wasn't saying it out loud to. I think that's the show trying to say like he's just interested in Boruto, yeah. So I'm not really sure what else he's got up his sleeve beside a little white snake, but yeah. So
No
I'm
innuendo there.
yeah, up his sleeve.
Okay.
Yeah. So not really sure what else he can do, but I'm sure we're gonna figure out. And he's going to, get put to the test kind of stuff. But it seems like he's farther ahead than anybody else.
Oh,
so far.
by far.
I think he could beat Boruto. He easily beat CUWB.
And he's the one.
CUWB beat Boruto. And if he easily did it, then I'm thinking, of course, like when it comes to it, like Boruto, when it's like a serious thing, he's going to go all out. So that's why I think he beat CUWB in the first place because, he's doing it for someone else. Yeah, so I don't really know anyone else who's above Mitsuki. Sorry. I had all these names going through my head. I don't know anyone else who's in the class who's above Mitsuki yet. We haven't seen much of Asarda yet. But it seems like she's just throwing I don't know, like ninja stars and kunai.
It's about all we've seen from her yet, so but I am really curious. I want to know. And I also I want to see Sasuke and Sakura back in the show. If they don't,
I want to see some redemption.
If they don't bring them back, I'm gonna be so mad.
So far, this show has ruined Naruto as being a terrible father, and we haven't seen any kind of redemption yet in Sasuke. Like, oh, is he a good dad, or like, is he hanging out? Is he finally being good to? Oh my goodness. Sakura. Is he finally being good to her? Because obviously they had a kid together, and she's been holding the torch for him for the whole time.
They had to get along at some point.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's usually how things work. Yeah. So we don't even know. Like we don't know what's going on. So hopefully the show shows us that at some point. But then will this is what I'm wondering. Like we are this is the 6th episode we just went through, and Boruto still hasn't told anybody about this eye. Like he hasn't said like, "Hey mom, you have the Byakugan. I think my eye can do it." He's only asked her about the Byakugan, but he hasn't fessed up. This is like the 4th person or 5th person who he's seen with this.
Oh yeah,
and he knows something's up with his eye. He's held his eye afterwards before. I've seen it. I've seen it. But he hasn't really told anybody yet.
No.
He's kind of told Shikadai that he can see things. He's told Mitsuki that he can see things. He hasn't said something's up with my eyeball. And he hasn't told his dad, his mom.
Was Denki with them with the metal thing? Yeah. So Denki knows too. I think, right?
So Denki knows too.
So like he just kind of like told some friends and I mean, come on, mildly irresponsible here. Like there's something going through the village. Like you probably gotta tell someone about it.
And if you're like the only person seeing it, you might be the only person that can stop it. But he tried to do a summoning jutsu and summon this thing. It seems to be correlated.
Similar,
purple chakra. And we keep on seeing that like lion beast face correlated with all this and this weird symbol that keeps burning every time it leaves. Off. Yeah, so I noticed this episode that that thing's been like burning, but hasn't been when it gets attached to the next person, but when it leaves the person. So I've been noticing that. So like when it left Shino this episode, we saw like the symbol and it, like burned another I don't know what it was, some kind of icon on this diamond thing. It was like another
like a flame-ish type thing.
Yeah, they've been like building.
So it's like or kind of seems like it's trying to hit a certain amount in order to reach a goal.
Exactly. But I don't know what that goal is.
So that kind of makes, because one of the other things I was worrying about is like, can they only control one at a time, or is it can it only affect one person? Because I mean, I guess if it was like a massive, I mean, honestly, I guess if it's to get as many, it makes sense to hit as many as you can or to stop them from, if it was like an absolute end goal to kill someone or kill something, then, you know, if you had like 5 of them rampaging at a time, then I think that'd make the most sense. But
Yeah.
so maybe that's not what it is. Maybe it's just, is it getting something out of possessing them?
I think so, because it seems like it's adding. So I don't think it. I think with the symbol, it's not like a tally mark, like someone's just keeping a tally. I think it's like taking something. So I don't know.
I'm confused. I'm curious.
Yeah, I don't really know, but it's
I don't know if
obviously
he's gonna tell
leading up
anyone.
to something.
Yeah.
'Cause that's why it's building, and it seems like it's one at a time, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, I think so.
Which makes you think, like, when it bites onto somebody, is it like one entity that's biting on, then leaving, then going somewhere else? I don't know. But yeah,
don't know.
what the heck? Boruto needs to tell somebody, though. Like,
I mean, I think the fact that he asked Hinata a little bit about the Byakugan kind of, it might insinuate that he eventually is going to ask. At least he better, because I want to know what the heck is going on. And I don't think he's going to figure it out on his own.
yeah, and if they hear, like they're obviously knowing something's going on now. That's what Shikamaru is like, something's going on. And it can even hit Jonin level. So that means they're going to make it very important. And then if it's like, oh, he can see it, they're going to investigate and figure this out.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, Boruto, just tell somebody. Just tell somebody.
Well, they're going to, it looks like at least now that we know that Shikamaru and Naruto know about it. So at least now there's going to be like some investigation and looking in and seeing what's happening. So maybe we'll start to figure some stuff out in the coming episodes.
Yeah.
But it's probably going to throw a random filler in there. It's going to make us take a little while.
Yeah.
I'm just anticipating. I feel like that happens every time. Like, it finally builds to a different area, then all of a sudden there's a random filler in the shows.
Yeah. And then our last question we'll preface with this soundbite, not saying that this is a segment, because you guys need to help us out with that. We don't know which segments to do, but here we go.
Is it really that bad?
Yeah, it's bad. It's really bad.
So, our question that we've already proposed with this, and now it's kind of like, if it can, Shikamaru kind of said, like, this is scary, it can get Jonin level. What if this thing gets Naruto?
That could be a problem.
Like, seriously, like, what if, it attaches to Naruto? And, I mean, like, who can stop that,
Do you think that it could... So, technically, there's 2 entities in Naruto, right? There's Naruto, and then there's the Nine-Tailed Fox. So, could it overpower... Like, I feel like the only way... If Naruto gets affected, or were to get affected by it and, like, kind of, like, go on a rampage, I think the only thing that could prevent it is, like, the Nine-Tailed Fox inside of him, like, fighting against him.
Kurama.
There we
Kurama
go.
has a name. He's not just the Nine-Tailed Fox anymore.
I know, I can remember his name.
They're cool now, man. They're cool.
They get along. I know, like, that's like, that's the only way I could see them, like, or him actually being able to come out of that is, like, if Kurama were to actually overpower, which would be kind of interesting because, like, the original one where, like, Naruto, like, gained control of it, like, it was kind of like a fight between them inside, and he had to, or Naruto had to win, so kind of be the opposite, except this time Kurama's got to beat him. So that'd be interesting.
That'd be kind of cool. Yeah. We haven't seen Kurama yet. And they're cool now. Yeah. So if this was like him and Kurama weren't cool, but he knew how to, like, use his chakra like we were before, then Kurama might, like, take advantage of that and, like, oh, Boruto has no control. Well, here we go. I'm letting myself go. Or if this thing was trying to let him go, but now Kurama doesn't really want to be let go. He's cool with living inside of Boruto's belly. But
he's pregnant.
Yeah. You know what?
For
Why
life.
And that's man, that's a big baby.
Yeah, I would say so.
That's a big baby.
He's not showing very much.
But yeah. So, anyways, that's all we got. Yeah, we called somebody at the end of the last episode to get their best haya. So we'll do those kind of random things.
She might be off work.
Okay.
Or we could call Courtney.
Let's see if we can call Jazzy J. And so if you guys don't know, I'll say it again this episode. We actually are going to be setting up, like, a network that this podcast is going to be a part of, aka, like, we have really cool friends, and we, like, talk about stuff.
Obviously, Johnny and I are the coolest.
Yeah, we're the coolest ones.
Clearly.
By far.
Do you see the headbands?
Yeah. no one else is going to be wearing the headbands. But so we're going to be setting up like a network with our friends. We're all going to be doing different kinds of podcasts, and this will be part of that network. So every now and then we like are going to do fun things with other people in other podcasts, and be. I'm sure we're going to be digging on each other's podcasts. Which
Special
one's better.
guest appearances.
Oh yeah, we can do that. They're not going to know anything about this show.
No, not a clue.
None of them even watching.
What if we have
Mara's
them
watched maybe an anime, maybe Mara.
anime? We should have like Carol watch one random episode and just get her thoughts on it one day.
Yeah, just real quick. Yeah, that'd
Granted,
be funny.
everyone in the comments will probably be very mad at her for the thought process, but you know what? Maybe we'll get her hooked on it.
Yeah, and then every time I call Jasmine, so she's actually in my phone from all those years ago I met her as a person I don't care about because she takes friendship very highly, and I am sometimes kind of sarcastic, toxically. And so that's why I put her in my phone as, and she's always not liked it, but now she likes it. So I used to actually call her Pidka. Pidka. Well, CA. Person I don't care about. So here we go. We're
I
gonna.
actually got a funny story about that stuff later, but we'll do it later.
Yeah, let's go ahead and give her a call. Oh, I didn't start the call. Here we go. I think it's still connected.
There it goes. If she doesn't answer, we'll just leave a really weird message.
Hello?
Jasmine, what's up?
What's up, Jasmine?
You're currently on one of our podcasts, the Catching Up with Boruto podcast.
I'm on work. I'm at work. I'm so sorry.
Oh,
Dang.
dang it.
Can we get a quick hiya from you? Your best hiya.
Hiya. Good.
All right. Well, there we
That
go.
works.
Thank you, Jasmine.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
Well, I feel kind of bad about that.
Well, we interrupted work.
Yeah.
She's working from home.
She's
at
working
the
from
moment.
home.
It's okay.
This is a good part about everything going on. Everyone's working from home. Actually, that's only a good thing. I shouldn't say that it's a good thing. But anyways, guys, yeah, that was our episode. We're going to be doing another one in 2 days, and that'll be finally our 6th podcast.
And we can start releasing.
And we're going to start releasing. So that's,
So right now, we're talking to you from the future.
yes, from
I guess
the
technically
past.
past, that's right.
Yeah,
And thinking about the future.
Back to the Future. But yeah,
Theoretically, every episode will be that, though, won't it? Unless we live stream.
well, that's what I want to eventually be doing. So
right, that's
we'll
right.
live stream everything. So you guys can be leaving stuff, and we'll maybe at the end like go through a few of the questions. Yeah, and that could be a segment.
Yeah, there we go.
That'll give us a segment.
We got one potential in the future.
Yeah.
Once we get a little bit of following.
Yeah. But anyways, guys, remember that we're also on YouTube. I actually remembered to clear some data off my camera this time. Last episode, it stopped halfway. So it's going to be weird on YouTube, but it'll be cool. But anyways,
right.
if you ever want to see our reactions and whatnot, or weird facial emotions, yeah, you can watch us on YouTube as well. We're on podcasts, all the podcasts that you can find, whether it's on Android, Apple, whatever. But we really like our Apple 5-star reviews. So if you leave us an Apple 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, we actually shout you out. And yeah, so you should definitely do that. And then
I would scream your name. Actually, I
Wow.
won't do that because that'll probably break your microphone.
yeah,
I'll stand back and scream it.
yeah, we can stand back and scream it. Why not? But yeah, so feel free to do that. That really will help us out, especially with growing this. We're looking at a lot of episodes in the future, guys. Boruto is in the
200
hundreds.
plus.
Yeah, so by the time we catch up, it'll be in 200s.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure. But yeah, so hang out with us, tell your friends, all that kind of stuff. We will be trying to release some social media stuff coming out soon. But still, chat with us on the 5-star reviews and whatnot. And by the time this comes out and you guys are hearing it, there should be something catching up with Boruto. Whether it's, so it'll be probably on Instagram at Catching Up with Boruto.
Yeah.
That sounds like
that.
a good name.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
That's our name of the podcast. That makes sense.
Yeah. And eventually all this will be like on a website and all that with the network that we're going to be a part of. But we're just the first of our friends to actually do this. Wow, we're actually the productive people in our friend group, so we can hold that
No
over
one would
them.
ever say that about me, ever.
Yeah, we're probably the ones who aren't.
It's
But
just
hey,
because we really like
we're
the show.
proving it. We're proving it right
Yeah,
now.
We're better.
Yeah,
We
we're
got
better.
it. We're the best.
because they're gonna watch this and
And you know
not
what?
know what's going on.
I need your guys' help, though, because if we can make this podcast the one with the most followers of all of their network podcasts. Oh my
Yes.
goodness, that would be the best
That
thing
would
ever.
drive them crazy.
and
also,
we love it.
And also, just as because you guys might get to know my wife through other podcasts in the same network. She's going to be in a few of the other ones. Actually, if we get, she said this, if we get 3, like 6, like of the podcasts, like doing well, I can take over one of our nicer rooms. Because right now we're in a little room, and not saying that this is a bad room, but we're gonna eventually want to use this, and it would actually let me have my office in a bigger room, and have like a nice podcast table in the same room, and it's always set up. Right now I'm like tearing down. Hey, so help me out, all right? Help me out.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. Help me out.
Absolutely. We'll make it look nicer. Right now we got a couple orange lights.
Yeah, and I'm stealing those every time from my office where I live stream on Twitch at JOHN_E, John E. Get it, Johnny? But anyways,
Like your other. Oh, I almost gave your Snapchat out.
no, don't do that.
I know. I just almost said it. And I was like,
Don't
that'd
do
be a
that.
problem.
Yeah, we want to keep our personal stuff personal.
Personal.
But anyways, hey guys, that's it for the episode. My name's Johnny,
I'm Trey,
and we just did that off the fly.
and
'Cause
we're
we're
gonna
still-
say goodbye.
Yeah, and we're gonna say goodbyes. But that was it. Thank you guys for listening and having us, and we'll see you next time. And remember, better late than never. That's our ninja way. See you guys.
Peace, guys.